Hello there, welcome to Plus Talk on Plus Life. We are talking about HIV and aging, and my guest today is Jax Kelly. He's the founder, president, and CEO of the Aging and HIV Institute. Good to see you, Jax.
Good to see you too.
Thanks for making the time. You and I, we've both been living with HIV for almost 2 decades now. I think you're a little bit older than me, not much though. What do you say that aging with HIV kind of looks like today? And what do you think most people still don't understand about HIV and aging?
Good question. Aging with HIV is about navigating that tension between invisibility and stigma. And sometimes we're made invisible, left out of the aging conversation, we're missing from health data, erased from media. And sometimes we choose invisibility, right, to protect ourselves from stigma. But when we do step forward and say, we're still here, we often face a new wave of stigma. People who think HIV is something from the past, or who see our age or diagnosis as shameful. So we're constantly doing the emotional labor of deciding when to be visible and how much of ourselves to show.
Yeah, and let's be honest, when we get to a certain age, who wants to be doing that all the time?
Nobody.
Exactly. You have created the Aging and HIV Institute because, as you've just said, older folks living with HIV often are just getting left behind. What's the mission and why is it so urgent right now?
Yeah. The mission of the Aging and HIV Institute really starts with my personal journey in HIV advocacy. So years ago, I served on the Los Angeles County Commission on HIV as someone in my 40s, and even then I could see the demographic wave cresting. What we're seeing now, where over 50% of people living with HIV are over the age of 50. And we tried to address aging with the Ryan White Care Act, but at the federal level, those changes just weren't happening. So I began to look elsewhere. And that led me to the Older Americans Act. And since the 1960s, it's been providing services that HIV systems never really covered: transportation, meals, caregiver support, social connection. That's what sparked the creation of the Aging and HIV Institute, to bridge that gap between aging services and HIV services, and to make sure older adults living with HIV are seen, supported, and included in the systems that were never built with us in mind.
Yeah, you talk about feeling seen. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that they face that younger folks might just never see?
Yeah. Well, first of all, older survivors and those aging with HIV over 50 carry something that can't be fully explained. We were witnesses to the plague years, and at Let's Kick Ass Palm Springs, we call it AIDS survivor syndrome. And it's a trauma of having lived through mass death, silence, and rejection, often losing entire circles of friends, chosen family, and partners in a very short time. Even our allies and caregivers from that time carry this trauma. You don't have to be HIV positive to experience the grief and fear of those years. Younger people can share in our stories, but being a witness is something else entirely. We hope they never have to experience what we did. And maybe, just maybe, we'll all live to see a cure or a vaccine.
Yeah, as I said, you know, you've been living with HIV. You were diagnosed in 2006, I believe. Was there a moment for you, sort of personally or professionally, when you realized that living with and surviving wasn't enough, that you actually had to do more?
Well, you know, even in 2006, I knew that we had, even before then, I knew we had to do more. You know, when I was a teenager, I think, well, actually, when I was in college, is when I first learned about this disease that was affecting gay men, right? And so it wasn't too long after I graduated from college that I actually was interested in getting more involved in the fight. So I had joined an organization called the Upper Room AIDS Ministry as a board member back in 1991. And that was before we had ARTs, the medications that are extending our lives. So I'm very familiar with everything that was going on. And so I think my entire life, to some extent, has been devoted to this kind of activism.
Yeah, and you're definitely not just raising awareness. I mean, you are genuinely out there pushing for real change, as we've talked about earlier already. But especially around peer support to Medicare reform. Why is it crucial that we address aging with HIV, not just at a personal level, but at the policy level too?
Yeah. Well, for many LGBTQ people aging with HIV, this issue is deeply personal. And in some ways, it mirrors something we've already lived through. Just like we once grappled with internalized homophobia, those years of questioning or rejecting our queer identity, we now face internalized ageism. And in a culture that idealizes youth, it can be hard to accept our own aging process, especially when living with HIV. There's shame, fear, invisibility. And it doesn't just live out in the world, it lives within us too, right? So, but ageism also plays out at the policy level. And that's where things get even more complicated because of intersectionality. We can't talk about serving low-income older adults in any meaningful way without addressing the specific needs of those who are LGBTQ plus or living with HIV. In California, we're making progress. The California Department of Aging conducted one of the country's first statewide surveys of LGBTQIA older adults and included questions about HIV. So that data gives us the tools we need to address how poverty, access to healthcare, isolation, and other issues impact our communities.
You talk about ageism there, and I think whether it's housing or healthcare or access to services, why are the older folks falling through the cracks? I mean, ageism is part of it, but what else is going on?
Yeah, well, as I stated earlier, this all comes down to invisibility and stigma. And invisibility has real consequences. So healthcare providers may not know that people living with HIV often age faster, or that menopause may begin earlier. Caregivers in institutions, nursing homes, assisted living facilities may still believe outdated myths like HIV being spread through casual contact. And even in LGBTQ plus spaces, older adults who wear rainbow colors or celebrate pride may still face judgment or stigma. These are the gaps, the knowledge gaps, the empathy gaps, the policy gaps. And without data, we can't close them. That's why surveys like the California LGBTQIA plus older adults survey are so important. By collecting real data on HIV and aging, we can finally push for better training for providers, better protections in care settings, and policies that make it easier, not harder, to grow older with dignity. And we have to break the cycle where people withdraw into self-imposed isolation just to avoid being misunderstood or mistreated. Education isn't just about information, it's about justice.
Yeah. And, I think of if someone's watching this who's an older person living with HIV and they are feeling erased or they're feeling forgotten right now, what's the one message you want them to carry forward today?
Just keep living your life. There's so much negative noise out there that if we start internalizing it, we'll just blow up, basically. And you just have to keep on keeping on is what I think we used to say back in the 60s. So it still applies today.
It certainly does, and we want you to keep on keeping on with all the great work you're doing, whether it's the Aging and HIV Institute or a lot of other fantastic programs that you've got happening out there in the desert areas. And I look forward to having you and some of those folks who are associated with those back on Plus Life in the future to talk about more of those services so that we can share those resources. Jax Kelly, thanks for making the time.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hey, what did you think? That's going to do it for this Plus Life episode. You can leave a comment below because we do read them. We like to check them out. Remember, you can like, follow, and share. We are at Plus Life Media across all your favorite social platforms. The website is pluslifemedia.com, and head over to our YouTube page at Plus Life Official. Until next time, be nice to one another. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.